Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Humanity. Yes, today we are going to discuss healthy issues, healthy matters. When we talk of health, especially we are going to focus on the brain and the heart of a human being. What does your brain as an individual means to you? What does your heart as an individual means to you? Yes, it means a lot because it is what supports you, what makes you to be a living human being. That way, you are individually responsible to ensure that your heart is in very, very excellent condition, as well as your brain is in very, very excellent condition. When we say excellent, when we say good, it's your personal responsibility, and you are the sole executive director of your own heart as well as your brain. With that, you have to ensure that your brain does not get contaminated with things that can cause disease. When we talk of health, we are going to look at how do diseases occur in human bodies. A man may be, say, I'm a qualified professor. I'm a professor with doctorates and what have you. But at the end of the day, he can be struck down by a debilitating sickness. And the question is, how do a qualified professor, a man who has doctorates, become a victim of what is really a very small thing? The reason is, men do enter into the field of what a disease, either knowingly or unknowingly. That way, I'm going to give an interpretation, a holy, divine interpretation, which guides men to safeguard and to keep themselves clean, and your societies, your families clean of diseases, of situations which throws every one of you into the path of disease. Because Allah created human beings without any question, and also Allah created disease. Disease are there as armies of Allah. They look at the interest of Allah. If you are to kind of venture in a field where Allah says that is forbidden, or if Allah says I've forbidden men from consuming alcohol, and you say, I'm a Christian. Christianity allows us to drink at least 5 bottles of cognac or John Walker every evening. That is when you are in the field of disease. That's when you are in the zone of disease. Because the reason why Allah said, I've prohibited men and women from the consumption of alcohol, because the human body does not have the mechanisms and does not know how to remove alcohol toxic gunk from a human body. So that Allah said in his when he laid down a provision which prohibits, or a law which prohibits men from consuming alcohol, men and women from consuming alcohol, he said, men and women have created, do not consume alcohol. He used whatever which is prevention is better than cure. Prevention is better than cure. Because once you consume alcohol, it does not come out of your body whatsoever. Because the body itself does not have the mechanism, does not have the know-how, how to process or how to remove alcohol gang toxins from the human body. So it circulates in every muscle tissue, causing pain. And it has alcohol, once it enters a human body, it triggers a very deadly alcohol effect or toxin effect of the gang of alcohol, which is rotting, boiling. It's a rotting, boiling, what kind of effect, which makes the muscle unable to, the human body unable to rebuild, to regenerate, the muscle to regenerate themselves. So they become kind of dead. You're dead, but you have whatever, you can walk on it, whatever, but in pain. That boiling and rotting effect that alcohol causes to the muscle tissues of a human being, they are so painful because it makes, for instance, it makes every joint in your body become infected with what you call arthritis. Arthritis, because the ligaments are boiled because of the effect of the boiling, rotting effect of alcohol. Boiling, rotting effect. Decaying, boiling, rotting effect of alcohol. So that way, you go through pain day after day. So, Allah said, prevention is better than cure. Do not consume alcohol. Do not put alcohol in your body. And on top of that effect also affects the brain. Because we wanted to look at the brain of a human being. The brain and the heart of a human being. Once alcohol is in your body, it kind of shuts down any what you call sequencing rotation cycles of every organ in your body. That happens because once alcohol enters in a human body, it kills what we call electrical spasms in every red and white blood cell. Once a red and white blood cell in a human body is dead, that red and white blood cell is disabled, is killed, it's no longer doing any whatever at its natural balanced rotational cycle, sequencing cycle. That's when red and white blood cells mutate into what we call cancer cells, and the human body become affected with cancer cells, and then they form tumors. So I think if you are to ask a medical practitioner, he will tell you that that is exactly what happens. But for a long time, men did not know how to interpret these whatever medical, biological or whatever. In fact, we call it a biological or tsunami knowledge, because they had no clue what causes ligaments to rot or boil and rot. It's alcohol, because once alcohol is inside the human body, it does not go out. And in women, it's very deadly, because every unit of alcohol toxic gang goes straight into the reproductive system of a woman. That's the ovaries. What it does, it removes the natural layer of the ovaries, and it replaces itself with a toxic gunk layer or lining of the ovaries. That's when the men entered into what we call, they started kind of producing children, diseases, which are children with medical disorders. Medical disorders, very severe medical disorders, and they become hereditary diseases. So with it, we are trying to look at the brain and the heart of a human being. Because we saw that once you consume alcohol, it kind of shuts down any rotational sequencing cycle of every other organ in the body, because the heart cannot communicate with the brain at the rotational balanced sequencing cycles. So the heart is out of order, the brain is out of order, so the kidneys too is out of order, the liver is out of order, everything, the blood itself is out, the brain And the brain is most affected by alcohol. That's when men become affected with dementia, early dementia. Early dementia, deadly disease, debilitating disease. So with that, I'm trying to remind men that my friends, my creation, men and women out there, this knowledge is not available to human beings at any cost. It's something that is in the Holy Quran. For years, men believe that being a Christian, you can consume as many bottles of alcohol as you want. My people, if you are to study, if you are to look at a woman who consumes alcohol and a woman who doesn't consume alcohol, their body, their skin will look very different. Even if it's a man who consumes alcohol, and the other one who doesn't consume alcohol, their skin will look very, very different. Why? Because I told you a man who consumes alcohol, every unit of alcohol stays inside his body. A woman who consumes alcohol, every unit of alcohol that she consumes stays in her body, doesn't go out. But the other one who doesn't consume alcohol, his skin will look radiant, clean, and very live, full of life. But the other one, of a man who consumes alcohol, a woman who consumes alcohol, the skin will be reddish, like a boiling, rotting. That is when you realize that is really exactly what alcohol does to a human body. Boiling, rotting effect, which makes every joint in your body, which brings on pain, daily pain, headaches. Take for instance, when you go out on a weekend, on what you call a weekend, when you go out on a weekend, and you drink yourself out of your head. Do you know what happens the next day? You cannot lift the head of your pillow because of the pounding headache. The pounding headache, because every unit of alcohol you did put in your body, it destroyed the brain neurons, because brain neurons were starved of any electrical spasm within the red and white blood cells. So that way, the brain neurons are completely damaged. Can you imagine you do that weekend after weekend, and you say, I've got a hangover, a headache hangover. My people. And that is a week after week, whatever, binge and consuming of alcohol. Is a registry, you are confirming or whatever that yes, I have made an application to the mental asylum and a hospital that I will be kind of in 2 years, 3 years, or 2 months. I might kind of check with my neurologist whether I've qualified in first degree as a dementia case. I'm sick as a everyday person suffering from dementia. So with that, my people, yes, do look after your health. You are the executive director of your own brain as well as your own heart. And with that, do not, because we are talking about substances that you put in your body, but also bad thoughts. Bad theologies can cause the same effect as alcohol. If you are a racist, if you are a selectionist, if you are a person who finds, who has hate in their heart, who derive pressure from the psychological and physical manipulation of others, that is also can cause the same effect as alcohol does to a human body, causing the entire system of whatever to clog and red and what cells to mutate into cancer cells, because you are against life of other living human beings, because you think they are either black or brown or this or Chinese or Americans. These are things that are forbidden in Islam. They are forbidden, totally forbidden, to have evil, whatever in your heart about anybody else. Because in Islam that is described as fitna. Fitna again is the most holy, beautiful religion of Islam, the most holy, beautiful religion, from which every beautiful woman, white, black, brown, yellow, we are created from. The same as flowers, because when you are to walk in a field, or you will look at flowers, yellow flowers, brown flowers, blue flowers, you name it. Flowers of all sorts of beauty. But when you say, I don't like that, I don't like it, that is when you are in the middle of the center of what we call fitna against the most holy, beautiful religion of Islam. And that fitna can easily find itself recycling, not recycling, but damaging every red and what blood cell in your own body, causing them to mutate into cancer cells, because you are against life of other living human beings, because you think of them in an uglier way, whereas they are living human beings who have got their own share to life, and they're entitled to life, as you are entitled to life too. So, as executive directors of your future, your children, if you are a good executive director, your society, your children will be very happy. Your members of whatever community, village member will be very happy. But in modern times, that thing has been kind of pulled away from everyone, because everyone think of the other way. If they are not witches, they are militants. If they are not militants, they are insurrectionists. If they are not insurrectionists, they are Qadian. If they are not Qadian, they are Ahmadiyya. If they are not Ahmadiyya, they are this and that, which has prompted Mother Dunya and Mother Nature to say, oh, human being, what kind of life do you want on this planet? Which favors of Allah will you deny, you living human beings? What kind of life would you like to have on this planet? Anyway, I want to go further than I just wanted to remind you that you are all living Muslims, and everything that you lay your eyes on this planet, every grain of sand on this planet, or soil, you may call it soil or sand, every drop of water on this planet, its religion is Islam. If you venture out of that guidance and protection, then you are about to put your foot in the grave or in a sink. Once one foot is in the grave or in a sink, you might find that it is easier for you to get drunk and you find yourself at the bottom of a sink. How would you feel? Who do you call to rescue you? Think about it. Me and you, I'm a Muslim. You say you're a Christian, you're an insurrectionist. Maybe you're Pentecost, maybe you're a Qadian, maybe you're a Ahmadi. Think again. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.